Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to the Stabler and Friends podcast. I'm Stabler, and today the friends are you, the listeners. No guests today is what I'm getting at. I apologize if you're watching this on YouTube. This isn't my most professional look. I stayed up way too late last night for New Year's, so I'm hanging a bit. I could definitely use a makeup artist. Uh, so if you guys know anybody who is ready to work pro bono as a makeup artist until this show blows up, please reach out to me and we'll get me looking very nice. Um, the show must go on. This is my first show in a while. New Year's resolution, guys. New Year's resolution is to do a podcast a day for 30 minutes or less. I will be focusing on sports, but if it's a slow day in sports, I'll be talking about movies or whatever I feel like. So, pod a day, 30 minutes or less, or else your pizza's free. Let's dive into what everybody has been talking about in the world of sports. The Miami Dolphins winning their 7th game in a row. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Just kidding. That's not what anybody's talking about really right now, but that's my squad, and I'm really proud of them right now. A team that went 7 straight losses and now 7 straight wins and a chance to make the playoffs. I'm very excited about that. Our real first topic today, we are talking about college football playoffs. First off, full disclosure, I'm an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. Don't judge me. I don't want you guys to be upset with me right off the bat on the start of the show, start of the new year. Been an Alabama fan since I was a kid. Actually brought this on for proof. If you're watching on the show on YouTube, there is me as a young child in an Alabama gear for my photo with a really cool background posted up on a star. So I'm trying to talk about this as unbiased as possible, but I did want to let you guys know that, full disclosure, I am a Bama fan. I've liked them before they're good, so I deserve this because all my other teams that I like aren't very good. First off, I'd like to congratulate Cincinnati on their season. They did everything they could in the regular season to try and prove that they deserved a spot in the college football playoffs, despite being a team outside the top 5 power conferences. Top 5 power conferences, if you don't know, would be the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 10, ACC, and the SEC, which in my opinion is the strongest right there. So anyways, they went undefeated. They had an extremely weak schedule, aside from playing Notre Dame on the road, but they took care of business and they went undefeated and they beat Notre Dame. So I think they deserved a spot in it just because nobody else outside the Power 5 has ever had a chance in the 14 playoff. But I did want them to get beat up so we don't have to deal with this again. Anyways, let's see. I know I, on record, have gone on to say many times that I don't believe a team outside the Power 5 should make the playoffs while it's only at 4 teams. Teams like Cincinnati could probably beat some of the big dog teams any given Saturday. I think they could beat Alabama once in a while. I think they could beat Georgia once in a while. But if you were to put them in a conference like the Big 10 or the SEC, I truly believe that they would have a mediocre season at best. I think Georgia is better than them. I think Alabama is better than them. I think Ole Miss is better than them. Add those games plus some coin toss games against Auburn, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and I don't even think Cincinnati would be in the discussion for the playoffs. I don't even think they'd be near the top of the pack in the SEC. But the game yesterday, the Bearcats, they ended up keeping it close in the first half. It could have been a tied game. Cincinnati recovers that muff punt right before the half. It could have easily been 10-10 going into the half. Instead, Bama gets it. They had a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty, and before the half, they did a 94-yard drive to make it a 14-point lead heading into the half. The second half, I mean, Cincinnati had a really strong drive in the first drive. Other than that, Bama came out, they dominated, and it was a wrap. It wasn't even a game. Cincinnati, this was their opportunity, not just for them, but they were playing the game for all the underdog teams who went undefeated and didn't get their chance at a championship game. This is for the 2006 and 2009 Boise State Broncos. This was for our 2008 Utah Utes. This is for the 2017 Central Florida whoever's. I don't even remember their team name, but the ones that donned themselves as the national championships when they had a Pee-wee schedule and went undefeated and won a bowl game. So, that was that was a big deal for the underdogs. But soon Cincinnati is going to be in the Big 12, so this won't affect them as much. But it will put a negative outlook for the committee on ever letting a non-Power 5 team into the playoffs again, and I believe rightfully so. The SEC is just a different beast, and they showed that last night with both Bama and Georgia winning with authority. Georgia guys, they looked angry. They're focused, determined, just plain old angry. I still think they're the best team in the country, and I think they end up beating Alabama. I didn't think Michigan would have been beaten down this badly, but games like these happen sometimes. Just to touch on that a little bit more, I think Georgia just dominated all season. If you watch their season, they looked like the best team. They got outplayed by Bama. I think collectively, Georgia's had the better season. I think Bama had a much better game head-to-head against them. I don't expect that to happen in the national championship. I'm thinking it's going to be a lot closer. Hoping Bama wins another national championship, roll tide. But yeah, let's move on. Enough about the college football playoffs. Still talking college, but I want to talk about the bowl games. With the college football playoffs now being a thing, I don't even know how long it's been the playoffs, but maybe about a decade or so. Bowl games are really getting watered down due to the athletes not wanting to jeopardize their future, and they are deciding to forego into the NFL draft. I mean, that's their right, and it's probably the right thing to do. I mean, would you risk one game for your school that doesn't pay you, or you're at the highest peak of your draft stock? Your draft stock's never been higher. Why not sit out knowing that in a few months you're going to be making millions of dollars, as opposed to if you blew out your leg for Tostitos, Cheez-It, Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. So anyways, bowl games now mean most to the underdog schools. I know a lot of people don't like to hear the narrative of this so-and-so team didn't show up to play the Cheez-It Bowl because it means nothing to them, but it's true, guys. I live in Utah. I've had a lot of people still talk about Bama losing to University of Utah in 2008, and Utah showed up. They did what they needed to do. Bama was a play away from going to the national championship. It's a big difference from like feeling like you're going to go to the championship and playing in the Sugar Bowl against a team that has never traditionally been that much of a powerhouse. Where are we at here? So what I'm saying right now is imagine being on a team that has multiple 5-star recruits looking at the championship, and they didn't make it. And now they got a game against a random school like a Western Michigan caliber team. Plus, a lot of these high recruits aren't even playing because they're ready. They're getting ready for the draft. I mean, you can't tell me losing a first-round lineman and having to readjust your line, or losing a defensive back and having to get a secondary chemistry to be there within less than a month of practice and no games. That's an extremely difficult task. Today's game between Ohio State and Utah, the Rose Bowl, it's two totally different mentalities between these two teams. On one side, this is the biggest game in the history of Utah. Utah's star first-round draft pick, Devin Lloyd, he's playing. This means something to him. We have fans. My social media is blowing up with friends that are down at the Rose Bowl. They're traveling. The Utes are traveling. This is going to be a huge home field advantage for Utah, I'm imagining. On the other hand, you have Ohio State, who is arguably one win away from Michigan from playing in the championship playoffs. They have their best receiver and possibly the best receiver in the nation in Chris Olave, who is sitting out for the draft, along with another prestigious receiver, Garrett Wilson, an offensive lineman, and a defensive lineman. I do believe that this is still going to be a battle, but I wish they would move on already and add 4 more teams to the playoffs so these games truly mean something. Something to look forward to, kind of fun. Marvin Harrison's kid, who's a freshman on Ohio State, will be playing today most likely, so that'll be fun seeing a kid play, a second-generation talent. I am really excited about this game. I have been looking forward to it all month. Utah needs this win so badly to battle for recruitment in the Pac-12, especially with Lincoln Riley coming from Oklahoma, and he's potentially going to take over that conference with USC for the next decade or so. He's an excellent coach, excellent recruiter. It's good for the Pac-12 overall, but I'd like to be at the top of the pack with that. Very exciting game. Go Utes. To everybody that's listening that's at the game, thank you guys for traveling. I think it's so fun seeing you all having a great time. You guys represented in Las Vegas for the Pac-12 championship, and I'm excited for you all to be out there. Have a great time. This is a quick podcast, guys. Like I said, I'm just trying to get worked up, getting in the system of doing a podcast every day, 30 minutes or less, sometimes longer than what I did today, but never over 30 minutes. That's my new goal right now. Just keep it quick, keep it fun. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a happy new year. Check in tomorrow when I follow up with the Rose Bowl. We talk about the Oklahoma State and Notre Dame game and whatever else comes up in the next 24-ish hours. Hope you had a fun new year. Been watching some movies. Haven't caught The Matrix yet. We'll be watching that soon, so you'll probably get a quick review from me on that within the next week. Favorite show right now, watch on Netflix. It's called Don't Look Up. Very good satire about what's kind of going on in the world where anything happens and we all have to take a polarizing take on it and let everybody know our opinion as if we're going to change anybody's opinion. Really funny, good jokes. If you like the style of, I'd say like Mike Judge films like Office Space or Coen Brother films, something along the lines of Burn After Reading, Fargo, shows like that, I think you'll really enjoy this show. Gets a little preachy at times, but just take it with a grain of salt. If that's not your style, if that's not your beliefs, just have some fun with it, get a good laugh. Thanks again for listening, guys, and I will catch you tomorrow.